Hello, my boyfriend told me I'm not new wife material because I don't cook like his mom. Last night, I was making dinner for my boyfriend. Nothing fancy. Just pasta with homemade sauce, a fresh salad, and some garlic bread. Halfway through the meal, he puts his fork down, looks at me, and says, "This is good, but you'll never be wife material until you can cook like my mom." I froze. I didn't even know how to respond at first. So I asked him, "What exactly do you mean by that?" And he doubled down. He told me his mom cooks everything from scratch. 3 full courses, homemade desserts, and that it was just different. That's when I finally snapped. I told him, "If you want your mom's cooking so badly, then maybe you should go eat at her place instead of criticizing me." Now he's mad. He says I overreacted, that he was just being honest about his standards. But honestly, I feel completely disrespected. I mean, who compares their girlfriend to their mom like that? And worse, calls her not wife material? So now I'm left wondering, am I wrong for standing up for myself? Or was he way out of line? What do you think? Ladies, if your partner compared you to their mom like this, how would you react? And guys, do you think he was just being honest? Or was that downright disrespectful? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear what you would do in my shoes. And if you enjoy listening to these true confessions, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Confession Chronicles, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next story. Because trust me, the stories only get crazier from here. After being kicked out by my mother-in-law, my life took a turn I never expected. I was young, a teen mom, and life had already thrown me enough battles. But I thought, just for once, that I'd found a safe place. My husband and I were living with his mother, trying to get on our feet, trying to build a life for our little baby. But peace never lasts long when you're unwanted. The looks she gave me, the whispers under her breath, the constant reminders that I wasn't good enough for her son. I swallowed my pride. I told myself to endure it for the sake of our child. Until one night, everything exploded. She stood in the living room, her arms crossed, her eyes cold as ice. "You need to leave," she said. "Both of you." Tonight, my heart sank. I looked at my baby, sleeping in his crib. I looked at my husband, torn between his mother and me. And I felt the walls of that house crushing me. So we left, with nothing but a suitcase, a stroller, and broken pieces of hope. Where did we go? Back to the only place we once called home. An old apartment. A tiny, crumbling building that smelled of damp walls and broken promises. It was the place where our story began. The place we once swore we'd never return to. And yet, there we were, back in our old haunt. I sat on the floor that night, holding my baby, tears streaming down my face. The wind rattled the broken window. The memories of our struggles whispered through those walls. And I asked myself, how did I end up here again? But then, in that darkness, something stirred inside me. A fire, a determination. If this was rock bottom, then I would rise from it. For my baby, for myself, for the family I was desperately trying to hold together. Because sometimes, being thrown out is exactly what pushes you to find your true strength. If you were in my shoes, would you have begged to stay, or walked away with your dignity intact? Life has a way of testing us in the harshest moments, but every ending can also be the beginning of something stronger. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Confession Chronicles. Your support means more than you'll ever know. I'm a 25-year-old mother, and sometimes I feel like my whole life has been shaped by pain I never asked for. When I was just a teenager, something happened to me that completely changed everything. It wasn't my choice, and it wasn't fair, but I was left with a responsibility far bigger than myself: a child. At only 15 years old, I became a mother. The years that followed were some of the hardest anyone could imagine. I had no support, no guidance, and for a long time, no home. I bounced from place to place, just trying to survive and make sure my little girl had something to eat. But somehow, step by step, I made it through. When I turned 18, I found a shelter that gave me a second chance. I went back to school, and I worked as hard as I possibly could. It wasn't easy, and there were so many nights I wanted to give up. But I kept going, for her. Now I'm 25. I managed to earn a degree in software development. I have a steady job. My daughter is in school, and she's thriving. And I've even met someone who treats me with kindness and respect. From the outside, it might look like my life is better, but on the inside, I still struggle every single day. The weight of everything I went through doesn't just disappear. There are days when exhaustion feels like it's eating me alive, and no matter how much love or kindness I receive, the sadness lingers. Still, the one thing that keeps me here, the one thing that makes me fight, is my daughter. She's my light, my joy, and the reason I keep pushing forward even when it hurts. She deserves the world, and I'm doing my best to give it to her. But here's what I want to ask you, the viewers. Do you believe that people who go through unimaginable pain can ever truly heal? Or do we just learn to live with the scars? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you're listening to this and you've ever felt hopeless, please know you're not alone. Things may feel impossible right now, but there's always a chance for light to break through the darkness. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for supporting stories like this. If you found this video meaningful, please like, subscribe, and share. It helps more than you know. Alright, am I the asshole for not siding with my wife over our son's ex-girlfriend's pregnancy? Our son just turned 16. He had a girlfriend. Also 16, almost 17. But they broke up about a month ago. 3 weeks ago. Her parents sat us down and told us something that knocked the air out of us. She's pregnant. And yes, the dates line up with when she and my son were together. She's even showing. My wife and I went into full panic mode. We waited a couple of days before telling our son. He had no idea. And when we finally told him, he blurted out, "It's not mine. I never slept with her." At first, I didn't believe him. I know he's active. I know he's asked me for protection. But he just kept insisting. He said he cheated on her, but not with her. And honestly, after a long heart-to-heart, I began to believe him. He may be a dog. He may be a liar in many ways. But in this, he seemed angry and genuine. My wife, on the other hand, refused to believe him. When both families finally met, she immediately started speaking as though our son was already the father. She was ready to talk about solutions, about money, about responsibilities. But our son pushed back. He snapped. "It's not mine. We never had sex." He was furious, and then he admitted that the only thing they ever did was something that couldn't result in a pregnancy. He said it was unsatisfying, so he never went any further. Crude? Yes, but it lined up with what his ex actually admitted. Now here's the thing. I know my son. I know he's a liar, a troublemaker, and a complete shithead sometimes. But this time, I believe him. My wife doesn't. She's furious with me for siding with him. She says I'm buying into his nonsense. She accused me of feeding into boy culture and refusing to face reality. And maybe she has a point. We were both 17 when she got pregnant with him. She believes history is repeating itself. But here's where I stand. I don't think we should keep having these big family discussions until there's proof. And the only proof is a paternity test. But her parents don't want to do one until after the baby is born. They claim it could harm the baby, even though I've read that it's harmless. And legally, here in the UK, courts won't order a test until after birth. So for now, I'm stuck. Stuck between my wife's anger, my son's defiance, and a situation that feels like it could explode at any moment. So tell me, am I the asshole for siding with my son and refusing to accept responsibility until it's proven? Or am I just being naive and leaving my wife to carry all the burden? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one of them. And if you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next confession. I'm 15 years old, and honestly, I don't even know how to feel about what just happened. My parents are divorced. My mom cheated on my dad when I was 10 with the man who is now my stepdad. That alone was hard enough to deal with. I have 2 step-siblings and a half-brother, and I'm really close with them. But yesterday, something happened that pushed me past my limit. After coming back from MMA practice on a hot day, I took a quick shower. When I came out, my stepdad did something completely out of line. He touched me in a way no step-parent should ever touch their kid. Before I even had time to think, my reflexes kicked in. I reacted, and that reaction ended up breaking his nose. I didn't mean to go that far. It wasn't planned. It was pure instinct. Now, instead of supporting me, my mom is angry at me. She told me I should lighten up because we're both guys, and apparently that kind of thing is normal. But it didn't feel normal to me. Not at all. Even my siblings are on my side. They were disgusted, and they refused to visit him in the hospital. So now I'm sitting here, wondering, am I the bad guy for defending myself? Or was I completely justified? What do you think? If you were in my shoes, how would you have reacted? Thanks for watching this story. Don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Confession Chronicles for more real-life confessions. I'm 18 years old. I have a twin sister, and our dad is now our mom. A few years ago, my dad came out as transgender, and ever since then, my life hasn't felt the same. When he came out, my parents separated, understandably. But since he kept the family home, my sister and I stayed with him. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand he wants to live his truth. I really do. But for me, it's embarrassing, painfully embarrassing. I feel so angry sometimes, because when he made that choice 4 years ago, it felt like he ripped my family apart. And then, the bullying started. People at school found out. They used to tear me and my sister apart with cruel words. And the worst part? My dad, who everyone knew was a man, started showing up to school meetings and events, dressed as a woman. I couldn't take it. The stares, the whispers, the humiliation. I remember reaching a point where I had to ask my dad to just stay home, because I couldn't handle the embarrassment anymore. And ever since then, I've carried so much resentment. I don't want to call my dad mom. I don't want to use she. I don't want to see him in dresses, in makeup, with long, girly hair. And especially, I don't want my friends, the ones who knew my dad before the transition, to see him like that. It feels mortifying, like screaming into the void. Why is this my life? And here's the hardest part. Sometimes I feel bad because I know my dad is really trying. He spoils me and my sister. He puts in effort. But every time I look at him, I feel nothing but resentment. It feels wrong, unfair. I've never cared if anyone else transitioned. Never. But why? Did it have to be my dad? I know he didn't do it to hurt me. But his decision, it shattered the stability I once had. It wrecked my social life. And it left me with a hurt that I don't know how to heal. If you were in my shoes, how would you handle this situation? Would you accept your parents' transition? Or would you feel the same resentment I do? Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever been through something complicated in your family, or if you just want to share your thoughts, drop them in the comments below. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories like this one. I dated my ex's dad after he betrayed me. I never thought my life would spiral into something this twisted, this shocking. But sometimes, betrayal pushes you to places you never imagined. And mine started with the boy I thought I'd spend forever with. I was 22 when I met Ethan. Charming smile, sweet words, the kind of man who made you believe in love again. We dated for almost 2 years. 2 years of laughter, promises, and plans for a future that never came. Because one night, I caught him in my own apartment with my best friend. Yes, the girl I trusted with every secret, every heartbreak, was the one he was betraying me with. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood there, and something inside me broke. Ethan didn't even apologize. He smirked and said, "You'll never find someone like me again." And maybe that was the moment the devil in me woke up. Because days later, I met his father, Mr. Carter, a man in his late 40s, powerful, commanding, yet strangely kind, the complete opposite of his arrogant son. He knew Ethan had hurt me, and instead of brushing it off, he listened. He saw me, really saw me. What started as innocent conversations turned into late-night talks. What turned into late-night talks became something deeper. His father treated me the way Ethan never could. With respect, with patience, with passion. And before I knew it, I was dating my ex's dad. The first time Ethan saw us together, his face went pale. The boy who once smirked at my pain finally tasted a piece of it himself. He shouted, he cursed. He told his dad he was stealing his girl. But here's the truth. I was never his, not really. People will judge me. They'll call me names. They'll say I crossed a line I should never have touched. But tell me, what line did Ethan not cross first? When he betrayed me with my best friend, did he ever think about my heart, my dignity, my soul? And so, maybe I did the unthinkable. Maybe I became the villain in someone else's story. But in mine, for the first time in years, I felt seen. I felt loved. And I felt powerful. So I ask you, was I wrong for finding love in the arms of the man who raised the boy that destroyed me? What would you have done if you were in my shoes? Would you walk away quietly? Or would you let karma play out this way? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm ready to read them all. If this story shook you the way it shook me, don't just scroll away. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more raw confessions. And share this video with someone who needs to hear that betrayal doesn't mean the end. Sometimes, it means a shocking new beginning.